let's talk a little bit more about the scale. The scale is the basic element of music creation. When someone composes a song, they do so with a knowledge of the scale. And when someone like you wants to figure out a song by ear, or also wants to begin to play a song using chords or triads, they do so because they know the scale. So let's look at the C scale here. We have from C to C, from middle C to high C. And it sounds like this. And in the C scale, it's all white notes. From C to C, crossing under, and each one of these scale tones has a numeral. So the first C, middle C, is the first scale degree. D is the second scale degree. The third scale degree is E. The fourth scale degree is F. The fifth scale degree is G. The sixth scale degree is A. The seventh scale degree is B. And the eighth scale degree is C. And a little bit later, we're going to talk about this one, number 7, something special for number 7. But we'll come back to number 7 later. Okay? So, you can build a chord or a triad based on any one of these 8 scale degrees. But to create a basic harmony, it's very easy if you build a triad on the first scale degree, and I'm going to use Roman numerals for these, the fourth scale degree, and the fifth scale degree. 1, 4, and 5. That's the Roman numeral for 1. IV is the Roman numeral for 4, and capital V is for 5. Okay, so if you wanted to build a chord or triad, simply think of every other note. So if you built one on C, C, what would be the next one that you would use? E, you're right. And then the third one is G. So you're skipping a note in a sense. C, E, G. And it sounds like this. A skip. If you wanted to build one on the fourth scale degree, that's F, number 4, F, you'll start with F, and then what would be the next scale degree? A, skipping 1 each time, and then you skip one more, and C. So a triad or chord built on F would be F, A, C, and together it sounds like this. And then to build one on the fifth scale degree, 5, or Roman numeral 5, G, you're correct. If we skipped a note after G, what would it be? Yes, you skip A, so it'll be G, B, and well, you wouldn't have C, you would have D, because it's G, B, and not C, but the one that comes after C, and that's D. So here are the chords. C, E, G, F, A, C, G, B, D, and back to C. Okay, let's put the 1 back there, because that's a nice chord progression. 1, 4, 5, and back to 1. Okay, now let's look at another way of playing these same chords. You don't have to play them in the same very order. You can have C, E, G in any order that you so desire. So let's say you wanted to play the C chord and you wanted to put the E at the bottom. You would simply play E, G, C. Let's write that one down. And let's use another color. E, G, C is the same as C, E, G. Now, whenever you're moving and you're playing these chords, it's good if you can keep a common tone. So what is the common tone between the C chord and the F chord? What note do they have in common? Yes, you're right. They have the C in common. So if you're playing E, G, C, why not keep the C at the top with your little finger and move each of the other two chord tones over, like the E over to F, the G over to A, and play that chord, F, A, C. So you got E, G, C, and then you just retain the top note C and move the other two fingers over, and then you don't have a chord tone in common, so now you just play the G, B, D by shifting everything over one, and then you move everything back to E, G, C. So you just shift everything over one from F, A, C to G, B, D, and then back to E, G, C. And here. Okay? So now, I want to talk about something very special in the G chord. The G chord, the 5 chord, can sometimes utilize a 7th scale degree. So you might say, what is the 7th scale degree? Oh, it's going to be B, but that's not so. It's going to be the 7th scale degree from G itself. So let's count. G, A, B, C, D, E, F. So we're going to add an F to the G chord. So instead of G, B, D by itself, it's going to be G, B, D, and we're going to add the F. And that's what we call a G7 chord. Why? Because not only does it have the chord tones G, B, D in the regular triad, we're adding a 7th. So let's go back to this inversion with our basic chord with the root at the bottom. Oh, the root is the first chord tone. So if it's a C chord, the root is going to be C. If it's an F chord, the root is going to be F. If it's a G chord, the root is going to be G, and of course we're back to C with the root. Because every chord is composed of a root, third, and a fifth in its basic format. So the C is not only the first chord tone, it's also the root. The F is not only the 4th chord tone, but in the F chord, it is the root of the F chord. The G is the 5th chord tone in the scale of, it's the 5th tone in the scale of C, but it can also be the root of the G chord. So every chord has a root, it skips a note to have a 3rd, and it skips another note to have a 5th. And the G chord is going to add a 7th. So let's see how the G chord sounds with that 7th. So let's try this inversion. E, G, C. We'll hold the common tone and just slide 2 fingers over to F and A. Now we want to play G, B, D, but we're going to hold on to the F because now we have a common tone, which is the F. So you're going to keep that there. Adds a nice color to it. And then back to E, G, C. Okay, let's do that again. E, G, C, F, A, C. Keep your thumb on F and just play the other two. And then back to E, G, C. And that's a basic triad with the addition of a seventh chord. Now I want you to double the root. So we'll do the E, G, C. We're doing that same E, G, C, but the root is going to be C, so let's play the C with it. The F chord is F, A, C. What is the root? It's an F chord, so let's play the F with it. And then the G chord, that we're adding the seventh, G, B, D, and the F, and actually we're going to do it in this order. The F is going to be down here because we're holding it from that chord. F, and then back to E, G, C, and the common root tone is C, yes, and what they have in common is the G. So we're trying at all costs to hold on to the root in the left, but then also the common tone in the right. E, G, C with a C in the bass. F, A, C with an F in the bass. G, B, D holding on to the F and a G in the bass. And then back to E, G, C holding on to the G. To create chords and also to create the root tone in the left hand, and also to retain the common tone between the chords as you move. So when you switch the order of the chord tones out of their basic position, not just C, E, G, hopping over to F, A, C, hopping up to G, B, D, and hopping back to or, you can create a better movement if you try to figure out ways to hold on to the common tone. Let's rehearse that again. You're going to have E, G, C. Your next chord movement is going to be F, A, C, so you're going to hold on to this common tone and just slide these other two fingers over. And then you're going to hold on to your F and move those fingers over to G, B, D because you want to retain a common tone. And then slide back to E, G, C, holding on to the G. And with the bass again, it's a C chord, so you're playing C in the left. F chord, so you're playing F in the left. Hold on to the seventh, which is the F, and play a G in the left, and then back to C with a C in the left. Bolts, or those are the nuts and bolts of creating chords using your knowledge of the scale. Bye for now.